Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today is Taboo Tuesday and I'm going to be discussing sex and relationships. Previously I've talked about body confidence and anxiety, so today I thought I'd change it up a little bit and talk about sex, relationships. I've asked you guys to ask me anything you want to know, so I'm going to be answering all the questions relating to the topic. If you want to suggest a topic for the future, then make sure to write down below. I think next week I'm going to be discussing periods. And just anything to do with like female struggles. So if you want to ask me anything about that down below, or you have a question that you want to ask me about that, or if you want any advice regarding something to do with that, then please let me know. I'll be sharing like my period story, my experience with the contraceptive pill as well, like within that, so contraception and the periods maybe in the next video. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer all your questions about sex. And I'm going to just be really open because sex is a topic that not a lot of people talk about. It's seen as very taboo, I feel like, even in like today's society. Like not very many people talk about it openly. Like a lot of people still don't talk to their parents about it. I don't specifically talk to my parents a lot about it, but if they ask me something I probably would tell them now, because one, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want, and two, it's probably best to tell your family if something could potentially be harmful to your health or just harmful to you in general. Like, I just think it's a good idea to talk about these things, even if it's with a friend and you're not comfortable talking to a parent about it. So let me go to all the questions regarding sex and relationships. So someone has said you could possibly talk about how poor sex education is and how people shouldn't be ashamed to talk about it. And I completely agree with that. I think sex education at school is it's not explicit enough, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not very like spoken openly about like specific details. I'm not expecting them to go into the full details of sex, but they essentially just talk about pregnancy side of things rather than the actual process and making sure that it's always safe. Like they just mentioned condoms and a couple of methods of contraception, but they never went too like in detail enough. I'm not, like I said, I didn't want them to go like fully in depth because that's just silly. I just feel like it was left way too late when sex education came into play. Like I started my period, for example, before I'd even been taught what periods were. So that was obviously a massive thing, but obviously I'm not talking about periods today, but that's obviously how you can end up getting pregnant after you started your period. So I had no idea about any sort of side of things. So when I did start my period, I was freaking out. And then after that, it wasn't until like year 9, 10 that they started talking about sex, which is obviously understandable because the legal age of consent in the UK is 16. So that's when they started talking about it a lot more. They did talk about pregnancy before, but again, when they talk about sex, it is very poor in terms of making sure people are safe when they have sex and making them not feel like they have to live up to expectations like in porn and things like that. A lot of people, especially girls, feel very insecure about porn because men speak more about like masturbation and porn and girls don't. So a lot of people freak out if girls start talking about things like masturbating or watching porn, and a lot of girls feel like they have to live up to the expectation of what boys watch and like porn websites and things like that. So yeah, there's just a lot of pressure to do with sex that schools I don't think cover enough. I think that's what schools should embed a lot more into their sex education like talks. However, obviously me saying this is not going to do that. I'm not going to change the world, but this is just my opinion on it. I think they should probably talk more about like porn, masturbation and things like that to make girls not feel so self-conscious about doing them things. And yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion personally. Please talk about your first time if you're comfortable to and the events leading up to it. How did you decide when you were ready? So I know I just said the legal age of consent was 16, and I'm happy to share that I was actually 15 when I lost my virginity to my boyfriend that I have now been with for 5 years. So I would not have done that myself. Like I am very sensible in that sense. Like I would not have had sex if I was not ready to. I wouldn't have let someone pressure me into having sex. I was ready at the time, and it was a very like strange experience, I guess, because we obviously didn't plan it, but we made sure we had protection, we were like ready, we sort of spoke about it briefly, and then it just happened, I guess. Like I cried during it, like the events leading up to it, we did speak about it beforehand, but not like on the day. We weren't gonna like, this is gonna happen, blah blah. It just sort of happened. We were prepared because we had contraception. We tried it out. I was in a lot of pain because obviously you tense up when you're in situations that you are new to or you're unsure what's going to happen. So I was very tense during the whole thing, and it made it hurt a lot, and I did cry during it. And my boyfriend was absolutely wonderful. Like, he obviously was making sure that I was okay. It all happened like well. I'm glad that it happened the way it did. I was completely ready, and yeah, I just cried a bit, and then we didn't have sex for a few months afterwards because I was quite shocked by the whole thing, and then it was just fine now. Like, it was just fine after that. So yeah, that's my sort of story. I did cry, but my boyfriend was making sure I was okay throughout it, and yeah, it wasn't obviously the dream first time that everyone sort of talks about, or you sort of see in movies, which is another thing that really frustrates me, that you never see anyone really have a bad first time, like in films and TV shows. But yeah, it can be bad, but again, I'm glad that I experienced it the way I did, because it was so like raw and real. And yeah, it wasn't like the perfect thing, but it was my experience and I've learned a lot from it. So yeah, if there's any other details that you wanted me to cover that I didn't quite then leave it down below, because I'll be happy to answer it. I feel like it's not something to be ashamed of. Like the girl, I forgot to answer that bit in the previous question. She said, should you be ashamed of, people shouldn't be ashamed to talk about it, and they shouldn't. Like, I know a lot of people would probably be watching this cringing about some of the things that I'm saying, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, me saying things out loud right now, I feel nervous I will feel nervous editing and uploading this, like I know I will, but I shouldn't be, because sex is so normal. Like, everyone has sex at some point in their life. Like 99% of people will, when they're either ready or they're legal or whatever. And I don't know, I just really don't see why it's not talked about enough, because people feel so insecure about it, and they shouldn't be, because it's just a normal, natural process of life. Oh, this is a question that annoys me about relationships. I'm glad someone has asked me this though, because I kind of want to like clarify how I feel about it. But someone says, do you regret getting into a relationship so young? And it frustrates me so much when people always say to me, like, are you sure you, like, so you want to be with that one person for the rest of your life? You're only gonna have sexual experiences with one person. Like, are you okay with that? Like, yes, of course. Like, I'm so happy in my relationship. I am so happy to just be with one person in that way. Like, a lot of people seem to think that you have to go from one person to the other, which I have no problem with. If you're single and you want to like experiment, then fair enough. Like, I have no problem with that, and I think that's a great thing to do. Like, if you are single, like, why not experiment, see what you like, see if you are heterosexual, homosexual. Like, a lot of people don't know until they experiment with different people, different things. So yeah, I do not regret personally getting into relationships so young. I'm so thankful that I managed to find a boyfriend young that I really got on with. I went through loads of rocky, weird young relationships, when you say your boyfriend and girlfriend, and then I had a boyfriend that cheated on me, and just loads of random stupid little relationships. Then when I found Aiden, it was like perfect boy, and I've just bonded. Like, we were really close beforehand. We were like close friends, and I was nervous when we got into a relationship that wouldn't stay like that forever. But now, looking now, we're 5 years down the line, and I'm so happy. And I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest, because we are like best friends, and we're in a relationship as well. We do like everything, well, not everything together, but we do a lot of things together. We've gone through a lot together. We've gone through our whole end of our childhood together into adulthood. So it's been like a rocky like change, and it does scare me, because I know so many people in relationships now that have been together for like 9 years, and then they've separated because they've grown into completely different people, which is something that could happen to me, which that is why I get like anxious and nervous about it. But I'm just taking life as it comes. Fingers crossed everything works out. I'd love to be with Aiden for the rest of my life. I'd be so happy for my life to be that way, but you just have to sort of just wait and see if that is what will happen, I guess. Like, but I can't tell the future. Oh, someone's asked, did you always know you were straight? Have you ever fancied a girl, for example? And I've always thought I was straight. Like, I've always found lots of boys attractive, but then me and my boyfriend actually had this conversation the other day. He won't mind me telling you, I've actually asked Aiden if I can speak about stuff like this, like, so don't think I'm just out here talking about my stuff. Like, I did ask him and he said it was fine. But yeah, we spoke about this the other day actually, like about being bisexual and straight and stuff, and I like find girls attractive. Like, I can definitely be like, wow, she's so pretty, she's gorgeous, like, oh, stunning. And I'm not saying that I remember, I think it was Grace Fit who spoke about in her relationship and sex video the other day, she said that she's not sure, like she's never experimented with girls or whatever, so she's not sure if she's completely straight. So yeah, I guess it's the same for me. Like, I don't know if I'm fully straight. I've never had a sexual experience with a female, so I don't know. But from what I think I know, I'm straight. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm coming across weird right now, but it's so weird talking about this. I hope people don't hate me after this video, but from what I know, because I've only been with Aiden, I am straight, I guess. Someone says, do you think it matters who you lose your virginity to? No, as long as it's safe and you're not going to get harmed in the situation and you've both consented, then I feel like you can be whatever age you want to, whenever you're ready, whenever you feel comfortable. I think you should lose your virginity to whoever you want to. If you want to get it over and done with and you know the person and you know it's going to be safe and you're going to be fine and you've consented to it, then have sex with whoever you want to. I just did it with my boyfriend because we were together at the time and it sort of happened, so that's how it happened for me. But I'm guessing if I was in the situation where I didn't have a boyfriend and I hadn't lost my virginity, I probably would just find someone else, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with losing your virginity. If you're in a relationship and it's going well, then why not lose it then? And if not, and you're just experimenting, having fun, like living life as being single, and you just want to have sex with someone from a night out, then I have no problem either. As long as you are safe and you've consented, it's all good. I think just whoever you want. I just think it would be a better experience if you were in love with the person, I guess. I feel like you feel something a lot more, but I can't really say because I haven't experienced that either. But I just, from me, coming from my personal experience, I think it is better to have be with someone because there's like more of a connection there. The pressure on young people to have sex. I'm assuming you mean like, say you're a little bit older than the age of consent and you haven't had sex, but other people like your friends and stuff have. Please don't feel pressured to have sex before you're ready, unless you really want to. I know a lot of people get frustrated when they get a bit older and stuff. But honestly, just whenever you're ready, when you find someone to have sex with that is safe and you know them, then I think just have sex whenever you are ready to have it, and don't feel pressured, please. I know you can feel like left out, I guess, if other people around you have all had sex and they're talking about experiences. It can feel like you are left out a lot, but please don't feel that pressure to have it just because other people have. Just whenever you're ready and you feel like it's the right moment, then that is when you should have it. Someone said, did you and Aiden lose your virginity to each other? Yes, we did. Do you feel like you've missed out because you've been with one person since you were 14? Absolutely not. Like, I had no desire to go out and club and like kiss loads of random boys. Like, that just wasn't what I was looking for. And again, I have no problem with that, but I just ended up being with Aiden since we were 14. We've been together, we've been so close, and I just feel like I haven't needed anything else in my life. Like, I've not felt like something was missing and like I wanted to go out and be with other people. That's never come across my mind. I've been so happy with Aiden and what I'm doing, so no, I've never felt like I've missed out at all, even though a lot of people seem to think that I have. How do you know when a relationship is right and meant to be? If you are unhappy, then you should get out of your relationship or address it. I feel like you should, just speaking is the most important thing in a relationship. Like, if you're feeling a certain way, just openly speak about it, and if they disagree with it and it's something that either puts you in danger or is making you unhappy, then you need to get out of it as soon as possible. And I know that's easier said than done. If you are like very invested in the relationship, you've been together a long while, and then something happens, then it is very difficult to part ways. But you have to look after your own well-being over anyone else's, and you have to be a bit selfish in them sort of situations, which can be very shitty. But if you are going to be in danger and you don't feel like something's right in your relationship, if your partner is prioritizing silly things in front of you maybe, or they are making you feel horrible about yourself, then you definitely need to reconsider the relationship, and it probably isn't right for you. But if everything's going okay and you're happy, then don't overthink it either. Like, I don't want people to be thinking, oh, is this right? Is this meant to be? Like, if it's happy, then just go with the flow. Like, don't overthink it too much if you can, and just keep going and don't keep when something's going to go wrong and that sort of thing. I don't want anyone to be thinking that. A lot of people have asked about my virginity, losing my virginity, how to overcome the fear of being intimate with someone new after having self-confidence ruined by a previous relationship. This makes me so sad that someone has put a lot of pressure on you and made you feel so self-conscious that, like, honestly, like, it breaks my heart when how someone else can make you feel so insecure in your own body when you shouldn't be insecure at all. So overcoming the fear of being intimate, I guess, just making slow steps, like baby steps, making progress like gradually rather than just maybe going fully naked. Maybe just say to your partner, like, I'm really sorry, but my confidence was ruined from my previous relationship. Again, talking is the best thing, letting them know so they aren't a bit unsure, because if they are your new partner and they're in love with you, then they should not bring you down about your body and who you are, because that is just wrong. And again, you shouldn't probably be with them if they're saying them things about you. So yeah, maybe just to tell your partner, like, I've got this fear and I'm feeling a bit anxious about my body because of my the previous guy I was with or previous girl I was with. So would it be okay if we just took things slow and you just slowly progress? Like, so they are all the questions for today's Taboo Tuesday. I really hope that this helped you guys out in any way. I know it's a little bit open and a little bit out there. Some people might be cringing throughout, but I thought if I shared my experiences, then it might make you feel comfortable to talk to your friends and family about things that you might be worrying about sex, and making it not as a taboo topic as it should be. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you are enjoying my Taboo Tuesdays. Comment down below any of the topics you want to see in the future, or if there are any questions regarding periods and like contraception for next week's video. Subscribe down below if you're new, and I will see you very soon for a brand new video. Bye.